Okay, so today we're talking about how to make a guy crazy about you, but we're talking about the darker psychological way of doing it. The positive psychological way of doing it is to be high value, as I talk about in all my videos. But this is for the low value people who want like a quick way of doing it, a slightly more manipulative way of doing it. Okay, and it's also for educational purposes, because you being aware of this will mean that other people can't do it to you. Okay, but if you're a snowflake and you're easily offended, click off the video, because you're going to find something that offends you in this video. All right, so let's just save us both the time. But my low value people, come here. All right, I got you. Now, it's using the tool of validation to your benefit. Now, a man, let me give you a scenario. A man who is crazy about his girlfriend, head over heels, okay, but then he also loves this female celebrity. He thinks she's the best looking woman on the planet. He goes to all her concerts. He invests a lot of money into her. That high value female celebrity, she could be better looking, more intelligent, richer and everything than his girlfriend. But who's he going to stay up at night thinking about? Who's he going to be asking his friends for advice for? Right? Who's going to be occupying all that capacity in his brain? It's not the female celebrity, right? It's his girlfriend. And the reason is because his girlfriend became a source of validation for him. Okay, yes, he had an emotional connection with his girlfriend, but it's also because she became a source of validation. A lot of his self-esteem would derive from his girlfriend. He'll get compliments from her, he would feel affection from her, he'd feel like she cares about him, and he therefore felt close to her, right? A lot of his self-esteem derived from her, and she therefore became a source of validation for him. A surefire way to make a guy crazy about you is to become a source of validation for them, but to ration the validation you give them. What I mean by this is a big problem women have today is when they like a guy, they don't know how to control themselves, okay? And, you know, they'll go meet him on a date and they're just smiling from ear to ear and their eyes are wide open. Guys who are in this industry and study this stuff, it's called anime eyes, okay? And you girls, when you really like a guy, you have anime eyes, okay? Your eyes are wide open and when you listen to them talk. This is validation. Okay, let me give you some more examples of how you validate men too much. You tell a man you like him. You are very eager to always be around the man. Okay, you show your cards. Okay, you give in to his requests. You change your interests for what he wants to do, or you compliment him too much. All of these things are validating men too much. Okay, you can sit here and you can call what I'm teaching you dark psychology, okay, but I would rather you be aware of the things you're doing than to be manipulated by men, because when you feed a man's ego too much, when you give him too much validation, he will bend you, not bend you over that way, all right? He will bend you over in the sense that he will just take advantage of you, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, most of you girls watching this video, you've probably been there. There's a guy who you're chasing and he's just ignoring you and he doesn't care about you. He's taking the piss. You've probably validated my man way too much. When you're chasing him, he knows you like him. You are validating him. So what is this video about? This video is about the need to stop validating men, and you use your validation as a rationing tool. You give them validation when you can see they're losing hope, but aside from that, your validation is kept to a minimum. So I was on a date before lockdown, right? And I was sitting with this girl and I was talking to her, and her voice was very monotone. Lack of facial expressions, wasn't looking at me that much, very monotone voice when she was talking. And this was a lack of validation for me, right? Because like, normally when a girl's interested, she'll look at me a lot, she'll be doing a lot of the talking, she'll have those anime eyes, and I just wasn't getting any of this from this girl. And that got me thinking quite a lot, right? It got me thinking about her quite a lot. And the reason for that is I didn't feel validated, okay? And again, it's playing on a man's anxiety a little bit, but it works, okay? I'm here to help you get people under any means necessary. I'm not here to be an angel coach. There's plenty of other people you can look to for that, okay? So you use your validation as a tool, okay? When you meet the man, okay, you can give him a backhanded compliment. This is a way of stripping validation, or even giving some validation and then taking it back, which gives more ambiguity around it. You can say something along the lines of, you know what, you look quite strange, but I like it. It's good, okay? And then when he says, what do you mean? And he says, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean by that? Just change the subject. Don't even get into a dialect or conversation about what you said and why you said it. You just change the subject, boom, and let that dwell in his head. Okay, let that dwell in his head. You can give another compliment. Another backhanded compliment. What if said me and you would work out really well in a relationship? You know, we get along really well, but there's something about you. There's something about you. I don't know. All right, boom. And of course, you say these things in a dynamic that is non-platonic. I'm not expecting you to say this stuff to your best friend. This is kind of when you first start talking to someone, okay? But you essentially, you use your validation as a rationing tool. You rarely give it, and when you do give it, it's as a way for the man to not lose hope. This drives men crazy about you. Let me tell you from a guy's perspective now. Most girls make it far too obvious when they like us, okay? Far too obvious. It's so easy to tell when a girl likes a guy. She doesn't even have to open her mouth, bro. I can see it in her eyes, all right? You can see in a girl's eyes when she likes a guy, okay? And that's what I'm trying to say. You need to limit the validation you give him, because the less validation you give him, the more he is going to chase it. And the more he chases your validation, the more space you are occupying in his head. The longer you occupy space in his head for, the crazier he is going to go about you, and the more he is going to fall in love with you, okay? It's that plain and simple. Stop validating men, okay? Ration your validation. Give backhanded compliments, okay? Never show your cards. Don't tell him you like him too early, okay? Doing all of these things will make a man crazy about you. Let me tell you now, you don't have to be the best looking girl in the world to do this. Because there's a lot of good looking girls right this second as we speak that are getting manipulated by men, okay? So it's not about how you look, it's about how you play the game. All right, so darker psychological video for my low value people. All right, come here. I've helped you out a little bit. I've embraced you. Now, ideally, I want you to focus on being high value. Okay, I want you to focus on your purpose, your grind, going to the gym, being spiritual, meditating, and all of that good stuff, and reading, and all of that good stuff. Okay, but sometimes we do need a quick fix. Sometimes the people who maybe just can't help but be low value, you need a way to make a man crazy about you. This is it. You're welcome. All right, goodbye.